Thrilled to have you here today, Mr. Mfano Nkutha, the COO of the Strategic Fuel Fund. Thank you for being here and thank you for your time.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and thanks for inviting us.
With the global push towards, energy diversification, how is the SFF adapting its operations and policies to support both traditional energy sources and emerging renewable projects to strengthen South Africa's energy security?
Mm. Pretty good question. We SFF are a strategic reserve agency. That's our business, and the business of SFF is to store energy carriers. And the challenge with the renewables is that the energy carrier is the wind, the sun, or the ocean waves. Three things that you cannot store. And our business has traditionally been, as I said, we store crude oil because the crude oil actually is the one that is carrying the energy. And we had to think, what is the impact of renewables in our business, and how should we adopt or adapt the amount of stock that we carry, and what is it that we need to change? And one of the things that we had to look into is we started introducing the oil equivalent of wind energy, the oil equivalent of the sun energy, because what is actually happening is these new energies are displacing the amount of crude oil that you require. However, when you don't have that source of energy, you will still need to revert back to your traditional oil. So, and the logic, or maybe the expectation, would have been that as the renewables are replacing traditional energies, you need to bring down your stock levels. But actually, we bring the stocks up because we cannot store wind, we cannot store the sun, we cannot store the waves as the energy carriers. And we now have to understand exactly what energy comes from those carriers, and how much in barrels now those things equate to. So those are things that we had to change. The expectation would have been, reduce your stock levels, but we can't, even though it's been replaced at the user level by cleaner energies. We actually have to maintain the same amount at the minimum, or add even more, because when the sun is no longer shining and there is a crisis, you need to fill the gap of the traditional oil plus the gap that was fulfilled by the renewables.
And considering recent developments in energy storage and fuel reserves, what specific strategies are you implementing to ensure robust and reliable energy storage solutions that can mitigate supply disruptions in the future?
We learned a lot a few years back when there were floods in Durban, and we realized that the overinvestment or over reliance of the petroleum industry on the storage that is in island view, sitting in one space in a single port, can really expose the country if there is a crisis like the one that we had with the floods in Durban. So we are now looking at investing in storage outside the normal port areas, more inland, so that if we were to have the same problems that we had with the floods, we are able to access the stock outside the port region. So really, our strategy now is, as far as the Northern Cape, we're looking at possibility of investing there. In the inland market, we're looking at investing in there. We're also looking at investing in the Eastern Cape as well. So those are the regions now where we say we need to start looking at putting in more tankage away from the port, because that exposes you to concentration risk in case something happens with the global warming, of course.
And as South Africa aims to address both domestic energy needs and environmental commitments, what role will you play in fostering partnerships with international stakeholders for sustainable energy exploration and production?
So, as part of Team Energy, and Team Energy being part of Team South Africa, our role really is not to go to partnerships that only exploit the natural resources of other jurisdiction. We really believe in shared growth, and I'll expand more what we mean by that, because we see our role as really pioneering shared growth, also shared success. And by shared growth, we're basically looking at strengthening the inclusion of local communities as we develop projects, create opportunities for them, upskill them. We had specifically in one of the upstream projects that we are busy with, we brought in local communities to South Africa, gave them training, and then sent them back to the project. So now, not only are we providing the skill in the region, we are also bringing people from the communities where we operate into South Africa, skill them, and then send them back home. And we're leaving them not only with a job, but also with a skill. So that is shared growth. And then shared success really is about reinvesting back into these communities, so that long after we've exploited the resource, they are assets that remain in the areas that we've been, which will become a testimony to our success, but also the community's success. And that goes across the board. We've got corporate social investment programs that are linked to the work that we're currently doing in the upstream sector. And basically, that's how we ensure that we become sustainable in these communities, and we form those, or we strengthen the partnerships that we're busy working on in these regions.
And just, my final question, how many editions of AEW have you attended, and what has your organization achieved by attending African Energy Week?
Yeah. So personally, this is my third conference that I've attended. And I must say, at a personal level, this is by far my best conference. My experience in over the past 3 days, in the relationships that I've actually formed, the stakeholders that I had an opportunity to meet, and the conversations that have been happening in and around the conference have been amazing. So it's been an amazing experience for myself. And at an international level, we are exhibiting. We also had an opportunity to launch to the media our new national oil company. So the conference has been a great platform to introduce a new trajectory within the SAF group of companies, and the birth of the national oil company for South Africa. And we hope that one day we'll look back at this conference as being a key point in the history of the National Petroleum Company, or pivotal point really in launching the National Oil Company of South Africa. So it's been, I think, at a corporate level, at a team manager level, because the minister was here as well. I think we got more than what we actually had invested in the conference, and it's always refreshing to see participation and the support from the community out at large who travels down to Cape Town, saving us the pain of having to travel to them, and still have 3 full days of back-to-back meetings. You come out tired, but you come out feeling that you've really achieved what you wanted to achieve, and even more in this case.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thanks very much.